if you're watching this video, it's very likely that you have this sense of knowing that something is just off about your life. Maybe on paper everything looks great and you really should be fulfilled. You've got a house, you've got a job, you've got kids, but there's just something that's missing. Today's video, I'm going to give you 5 signs that will point very significantly to whether or not you are a suppressed or repressed creative. And what I mean by that is somebody who has this innate creativity within them that wants to come out, but through obligations and societal rules and the expectations we have of ourselves and that other people have of us, we've sort of stuffed all of those things down either consciously or subconsciously, and our life is on paper looks great, but internally we just know that we aren't doing something we're supposed to be doing. So I'm going to help you clarify that in this video. And not only will I give you the 5 signs that you might be a repressed creative, but I will also give you 3 solutions, 3 things you can do about it right now to start healing yourself and start really awakening that creator in you. So let's dive right in. Okay, so sign number 1 that you are a repressed creative is that you were very gifted or often told that you were very talented as a child. So I'll give you a personal example of my own life. When I was very young, I remember being taken into a GATE program, a gifted and talented education program, and it was specifically for my writing abilities were well and high above the other people in my classroom. And it was great. I remember going to those classes and I got to just write stories and like illustrate pictures for the stories. And it was a very fulfilling and enriching time in my life. But I also remember we moved really soon after I got into that program, and that was it. I never got a chance to really dive into my creativity again. Although, maybe you tried to draw a lot when you were younger, or you took some art classes or maybe a film class in high school and you really enjoyed it. But again, as we get older and we start being told that we need to be more practical and that, artists don't make any money, what are you going to do? Go to Hollywood and starve trying to be a screenwriter or something? So we veer in the opposite direction towards something that's very practical, and sort of stuff all of those dreams that we had for ourselves deep down. So that's the first sign that you might be a repressed creative, is if when you were younger, you were very creative and other people noticed it and even encouraged it, until you got a little bit older and then the door kind of shut on those dreams. The second sign that you might be a repressed creative is that you deeply admire great creators. This could be that you have a favorite film director and you've seen every single one of their movies. You like to read articles about how they wrote it, or maybe how they directed it. You could have a certain artist, either living or dead, that you deeply admire their work. You have it all around your house, or pictures of it on your computer. You would love to own a piece of their work one day. Really, what this comes down to, and I'll tell you something my dad told me one time, and it was that greatness recognizes greatness. And so in my mind, the reason that you deeply admire these people so much, and I'm not talking about just being a fan, I'm talking about you really appreciate the thought and the creativity that they bring to their work. When you do that, it's because you recognize an aspect of yourself in them. You resonate with that deep level of attention and value in your creative pursuits that they show, you somehow, something within you really resonates with that, and you admire them so deeply because of that. So that could be the second sign that you are a repressed creative, is that you have this deep admiration for creative people. But instead of yourself being creative, you engage in sign number 3, which is that you binge watch creative competition shows. This one sounds a little weird, but I noticed before I went through my creative awakening experience and started really bringing out this aspect of myself that I ignored for so long, I loved, and I still do, love creative competition shows. So I'm talking things like Face Off, they do special effects movie makeup, Project Runway, where they do fashion design, or maybe it's a cooking show like a Master Chef, and these people are just like really into it and doing their thing. You love to watch other people really do their thing and do it well. And while you're watching those shows, more than likely you're also thinking about how you would do it. So I remember they canceled the show, unfortunately, but I was really obsessed with Face Off. It's special effects movie makeup. And every time they would get a challenge, they'd be like, oh, this is the theme, and these are, the things that you have to bring to your design. And I would just be like, oh, what would I do, At that time, I was like, I can't even really like draw anything, or I hadn't engaged my creativity in so long, in like decades, that I was like, it obviously can't do that, but I admired it, and I had these ideas percolating in my head. And so you'll see that in yourself. You'll see those ideas percolate in your head, but you won't take action on it. Which kind of leads me into sign number 4, that you are a repressed creative, is that you are secretly jealous of creative people. So while you're watching these shows and while you're admiring these people really doing their passion and being, actively participating in their passion, you also, a part of you could be really resentful or really jealous, or you'll find yourself really judging them, like, oh, that wasn't that good, or I could do a better job, or so-and-so could do a better job than that, or they only got picked as a winner because, something else. So you'll see an aspect of yourself start being really judgy and really talking down to these people that, on the one side, you kind of admire them and you think that that's super cool that they do that, but on the same side, there's like this envy or jealousy, and you might not put your finger on it that it's that when you're doing it. You more just think it's like, well, I know better somehow. I don't know how I know that I could do better, but I just know I could. That's because, again, you recognize an aspect of them that reflects you, and it upsets you on a deep level that you're not doing that. So that's a very strong sign. When we're like repulsed by something, it's because there's a deep part of it within us that wants to express itself. And so that could be a really good indication that you are a repressed creative. And the last sign number 5, that you are a repressed creative, and this is a big one, is that no level of achievement satisfies you. You may be very accomplished in your education, in your domestic life, in your professional life. You might even be like the top in all those things. Like, you strive really hard to be a great parent. You strive really hard to be a great employee. You strive really hard to be a good student. But no matter what, it seems like there's just not enough. Like, there's something else missing. There's a piece of the puzzle that's just not there. And for me, that missing piece that I kept, I couldn't identify it, so I just kept trying to shove it away because I didn't like it. I shoved it away with alcohol. I shoved it away with food. I shoved it away with just like mindless activities like watching too much TV or just being lazy, which just kind of compounded it and made me more depressed and made me more confused and just lost as to like, well, and feel guilty. Like you feel guilty because again, on paper, you have everything that everybody wants. Like you were a great student and you have a great job and you have a house or maybe you have a family. And it's just like something inside of you just knows like there's something else I'm supposed to be doing. I just don't know what it is. That's a really, really good sign that you are a repressed creative. So of course, I'm not going to leave you with all of these signs and not tell you what you can do about it. Okay. So let's say that you've listened this far and you recognize yourself in all or most of the signs that I have shared. What are you going to do? So I'm a repressed creative. Thanks, Amanda. Now what? So let me give you 3 things that you can do right now to start opening up this locked cabinet inside of your body. The first thing that you need to do is you need to reclaim your gift. And what do I mean by that? It sounds pretty woo-woo, but what it really means is that you begin to value this part of yourself that you have devalued for so long. And the first step in doing that is to recognize that this is your gift. You have to remember that your gift is first and foremost for you. This isn't some burden of responsibility that you have to carry out some mission, although it can turn into that. This is a gift you gave yourself, a gift your soul gave you to help you heal, to bring you joy, to give you abundance. It's the key. It's the key that unlocks all that satisfaction you can't seem to find anywhere else. Now, again, I told you I was depressed. I was taking medication. I was alcoholic, so my medication wasn't really working because I was substituting with alcohol most of the time. I was suicidal. I mean, you name it, right? I was not recognizing the creative within me in any capacity. But when I did, when I started to, when I saw back into my past, I saw all the signs that I had ignored for so long that, wow, I've always been a writer. I was always meant to be a writer and like a creative person. That's just in me. When I recognized that and valued that as a gift I could give myself and started to give it to myself, take time to write, take time to just play and be silly and make up stories that didn't matter, that nobody was going to see. When I started giving myself that gift, I started to heal. I started to feel better about life. I started to feel more fulfilled. I started to realize what my true passion was. I started to reach out to people. I expanded my social circles. I pushed myself into uncomfortable situations at writers' conferences and talking to people who I felt like I have no business talking to them. I'm not a writer. But I found out that I was. I always was. I just forgot. So the first part, the first step that you can take, action step, is to reclaim your gift. So look back over your life, look back through your past, look back through your childhood and start to recognize the signs. You probably already know. You probably already know, which is why you're watching this video. Take that gift and give it to yourself. You'll be glad that you did. So the next solution is to be patient with yourself, okay? So you know you're a repressed creative. You're going to reclaim your gift. You're going to start giving yourself the opportunity to express your creativity. Be patient with yourself. You're not going to magically wake up and go from zero to Picasso overnight just because you've rediscovered your gift. Think about it like walking out of a dark cave after being trapped in there for decades. The bright light's gonna blind you, disorient you, make you uncomfortable, maybe even make you sick. Okay? Bringing up this creative fire within you is probably going to be a little scary sometimes. You're going to feel inadequate. It's going to start bringing up all those insecurities, all those reasons why you stuffed it down to begin with, right? And you're going to have to start dealing with them. But that's, again, the gift. That's why it's so healing to do this work. It's so healing to bring this creativity back to the surface. It's going to solve your problems. You just have to trust it, and you just have to be patient with yourself. So lower your expectations, right? Again, you're an achiever. You've achieved in all those other areas of your life, but in this area, you kind of like, you don't want to let it slide. Lower your expectations a little bit. Remember that everybody had to learn how to walk, learn how to crawl before they walk, before they can run, before they can jump. I remember watching my son learn how to jump, and I thought, that's easy, just jump. But jumping is hard for a child to learn how to do. And first they kind of wobble a little bit, and then eventually they understand they can lift both feet up off the ground and land back on both feet and be okay. And then they start wanting to do it all the time. So be patient with yourself and allow yourself time to get comfortable with the idea of yourself as a creative person. Okay? All right, and the third solution, the third thing that you need to do as you recognize that you're a repressed creative and you decide that, okay, I want to bring this part of myself out. I want to start finding this part of myself again, is you need to get support from other creators. And a great way that you can do that is by joining this community. This is what Awaken Creators was intended to be all about, was a support system, a community of creative people who understand what it means to have this thing within you that you have to do. You have to express it, or you'll die. I hate to be so dramatic, but I mean, when you're depressed and substance abusing and on the verge of suicide, even though all your life looks great, like you're steps away from death a lot of the time. You know, that one triggering experience is going to push you over the edge. That's why it's so important to get help, to get support from other people who understand what you're going through, who understand the value of your creativity. It's not some frivolous thing, or you're being selfish, or you want to go paint. What's that going to do? Heal me, make me feel whole and complete, help me help other people after I help myself. That's what my painting can do. Okay? So get that support, because not everybody's going to understand this. This is especially true if you've recently gone through a spiritual awakening and now your creative awakening is happening. You need that support. People are going to start thinking you're crazy. So we're all crazy here. So you're more than welcome to be here with us. So join the Awaken Creators community. Subscribe to the channel so that you can get other videos that I do. That are going to be a lot more creative focused, so don't worry. I know my content has been all over the place, but I'm still trying to figure it out, guys. Follow me on Instagram at awaken.creators. I post things there regularly throughout the week, encouraging thoughts, tools you can use. And then if you really want to dive deep and you want to look into things, I do intuitive card readings. So you can visit my website and look for that information if you want to work with me. But really put all that aside. I just want you guys here. I just want you here surrounded by other people who get you. Because I suspect that that's something you don't feel like you've had. Maybe ever. So join the community and start talking, start having a conversation, leave a comment. Someone else will see it, they'll leave a comment. Let's like really grow this thing. I need your help to do that, because my mission is to really help great creators come out of their shells and show the world what they got. But you got to first heal yourself with that creativity. So thank you so much for watching. Again, if this video resonated with you, give it a like. Share it with somebody who you think also might be a suppressed creative. Maybe they too will find solace in this information. And I look forward to speaking with you all again. Thanks again for watching. I'm Amanda, and this is Awaken Creators. Bye-bye.